Okay, we're live. Brilliant
Okay.
warm greetings, Tiffany Carroll here, and I'm together with an incredible human being, Nina Menconi, and I've known her for a handful of years now, and my husband's known her for even longer. And she's an artist among many things, but I would say her way of being in the world is that of artistry. And we decided to have a conversation about creative process. So before we, so the, blah, 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 blah. What I want to say is this is going to be a dynamic and engaging conversation where we're both really sharing from the edge of our own experience in relationship to this topic. But before we jump into that, Nina, because I don't actually know your full background, maybe share anything that you want to or that feels relevant to this.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. So excited. Um, let's see. I fell in love with photography when I was like 12, and my dad gave me a little point and shoot camera, and I was lucky enough to study it in high school while your husband Rory was my music teacher. Um, and then I went on to like study it in college and just was always loved art. Even though I feel like a lot of people told me, like as a young person, adults told me like, oh, you should get a real job kind of thing. Everyone thought I should be an architect. But I'm glad that I followed the path of photography. It's been like a winding journey, I guess. But like I've done a lot of things in the photography world. But I always come back to it because I just feel like it's really magical. Like the fact that you can capture, like it's basically light capturing a moment in time or capturing whatever you want to put in the frame. Um,
Wow, I never thought about it like that actually. Light capturing a moment in time.
yeah, because like I learned on film, and I think shooting film photography, you really see how magical it is because it's literally like you see on the piece of paper. I mean, first it's the film, but then when you're printing a print, it's like the light is, I mean, the light is good, is like creating the image on the film, and then there's like light creating repeating that image onto the paper. Anyways, it's like I just feel like it's kind of crazy that I know our
Wow.
technology now is just even crazier, but such a physical way of seeing that kind of magic. I don't know.
And how would your experience of taking pictures of other people or things, what is it about that experience that feels really good to you?
Hmm, I like that question. I think like ultimately I just like love humans. And so there's like something about the moment when I'm like it's like being with someone and having my camera and having the goal of like creating a beautiful image. There's like so many elements that come into it, but like I have to be really present. And then I'm like so present with that person. And it's like I want to make them feel really comfortable. And and I feel like feeling their essence
Mm.
and like even in the experience, getting to kind of like reflect that back to them and just hold them in a space where they can like feel grounded in themselves. And it's so exciting for me to get to see them in their beauty. Like it genuinely feels like people are like, "Oh, you're just like hyping me up." I'm like, "No, I genuinely am just so in awe of getting to see this person framed and like, you know, there's I don't know if that makes if that was a good explanation.
It does. I mean, I can feel it. I'm not
Yeah,
a photographer, but when you say
it's like
that, I can feel it.
it's like deep presence with another person. And then I think I just see so much beauty in people and it's just so fun to get to like capture that and like have that connected time with someone and like help them feel good, you know? Yeah.
I know because you've done a few photo shoots with me, and then one, of course, with Rory. Well, you've done ones with Rory, and then ones with Rory, myself, and Kiara. And I mean, first of all, the pictures were incredible.
Oh,
I mean, incredible, and the experience of it is a. I guess what I want to say is attest to what you shared
Mm.
about presence because I can tell that you're present, not just in the way that the pictures turn out, but in the whole experience, the way the experience unfolds. Because I've certainly had photo shoots with photographers that they might do, the pictures might be nice and they may be a very well known photographer, but if they're not present or when they're, I want to say this, there's a different quality to the experience when there's real
Mhm.
presence there versus kind of doing a job.
Mm. Oh, I'm glad you felt that. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like it just brings me so present. Like anytime I'm with my camera, but especially with portraits, because it's like my focus is the humans I'm with and getting and like looking at the light and the background and their face and their deep, it's just like it brings
Wow.
me so present and I love it because I think I generally have like a busy mind in my day-to-day life. And so like when I'm shooting, I feel like I just get so present and it like gives me energy. Like I remember on the retreat that I was doing portraits for you. Um, I was kind of like I was tired and there was I was jet lagged and all these things, but I would just get this energy that came out of nowhere because it's like, I mean, not, I guess from inside, but like I feel like I can get an energy that's like an extra boost from
It's because it's
those moments.
regenerative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, creative and present and yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let's segue into this piece about the creative field and how it's part of the experience is that it's regenerative.
Mm.
And it's something that I experience, and I'm not a photographer, but my equivalent of what you were just talking about is when I'm doing one-on-one work with people or when I'm facilitating a whole group. And I'm so utterly present to what's happening that
Mm.
all, any worries that I have, any neuroses, neuroses, or whatever's there in Tiffany's mind, it's just gone for that while that I'm doing my work.
Yeah.
And then I also get to experience I get to experience my genius in action. And that's also deeply gratifying. It's just deeply gratifying.
Mm.
It's why also, if I go too long without just contributing and creating and doing what I do, I kind
Mm.
of forget who I am. I forget,
Mm.
I sort of forget who I am and I start to feel increasingly kind of dense or almost I would say stuck. It's part of the reason why I always say like create and release, or,
Mm.
you know, in my case, I'm creating, but I'm also working. I'm having a session with someone, same with you. You're creating, but you're working. It's part of your livelihood.
Mhm.
So I don't know, does that spark anything for you to talk about in terms of the regenerative field of being in creation mode?
Yeah, well, what you said kind of made me think of like how I've heard various artists and people talk about like how when you're in a creative flow, you're like kind of channeling something. Like it like it's basically like you're opening up and it's coming through you. And it sounds like when you're in sessions or working with groups, it's like you're not even yourself, you're just channeling this energy. Um, which I think when you're in a really in a creative flow, I feel like that is what happens. I don't, part of me like fully doesn't fully understand it. Like sometimes when I create things, I'm like, I have no idea where this came from, but I guess that's exactly proof of like some of it is from internal and some of it is something else. And maybe you'll understand it later or
Yeah. At least how I experience that is it feels like it's both because yeah, I make myself available and something is channeling or moving, something is moving through me, but it's using all of me.
hmm.
It's using all of me. It's using all of me, all of my life experience, the way my eyes move and my head moves and the way the words that I choose.
Yeah.
And so it's like my internalness gets to be moved, even though I am sort of getting out of the way, if you will, in
Right.
terms of the sense of like the mind dictating what's going to happen.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's like the neuroses and all the things go away. And so it's like it's you, but it's like a more pure version of you or something.
Yeah, yes, yes, an unencumbered version of you. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why it's regenerative too. I mean, I do think that when we talk about alignment and spiritual alignment, I think that this is a form of alignment. When you're in creative flow,
Oh, totally.
that's me aligned in action. Like I'm in the flow. I'm not self-conscious. I'm not, worrying about things. I'm in the flow. I'm hooked
Yeah,
up. I'm lined up with all that I am and all that wants to flow through me.
right. I mean, when you can really get to that place, it's like it does feel divine. It's like something, there's an energy that's outside of the brain and the, you know, normal life stuff.
I just thought of a follow-up thing, which is that I'm so curious your experience with this, but so there's the experiences like we just talked about in creative flow, where you're in the zone, and then there's things that we do in the creative process that aren't always in the flow. Like say, I know, didn't you just have an exhibition, or do you say exhibition in
Exhibition, I guess.
France?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Exhibition?
confused about that.
Yeah. It was in
Um,
France.
yeah, in France. Yeah.
So
Well,
when you were putting together everything for that, I am just imagine that there was probably aspects of it, of that whole process that didn't necessarily feel in the zone, creative flow, but it was all part of the bigger creative flow of all of your works that you're then
mhm.
sharing. So how how do you navigate that? The parts that feel hard and the parts that feel easy in the creative process so that you're actually bringing things into full fruition and release.
Well, I mean, that I think is the big question always to me, because I really do struggle with that a lot, actually. Because I think also doing something creative for a job is can be really challenging because I'm always trying to balance, like there's like you were saying about the exhibition, it's like there's always like running a photography business, like most of it is not the creative flow necessarily, it's all the behind the scenes and business stuff. And so I'm always trying to like, and then I get to be in the moment when I'm shooting and like, you know, those present moments I definitely feel like are in flow. But with my art, I definitely have to like really work at like separating time. Like I think I've gotten a little better at it, but I'm constantly trying to find new ways of like setting aside a day or a half a day or like where I'm not distracted by all the like life things and business things. Because it can be really hard to like slow the mind down. But actually this weekend I just did a workshop at the Tamalpa Institute, and it's like movement and art to like it's like a movement and art like therapy process kind of. But I realized that like I feel like for me, getting in my body is like the best way to get clear the mind. Because like the stuff that came out of in this workshop, it was like the the movement that I was doing, and then we did drawings and writing, and it was like the creativity just flowed. I think because it was starting from like moving my body in a way that was like there's no mind, like it was like I feel like my mind is quieted down. So that was such a good reminder of like when we're in it, like I'm just in my day-to-day life and like phones and computers and email and blah, 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 and the mind's just like um just like coming back to the body. Like I think I needed that reminder. And I think for me especially, I'm like just very that's really helpful for me.
So in Lumina Guild, you hear me talk a lot about creative emergence. I use that phrase, and I'm so curious what does that mean to you if you were describing it?
Creative emergence, yeah.
Hmm. And what does it mean to you, and how does it relate to your life?
Hmm.
This isn't a test or anything.
No, no, I love it. I'm like, because I think I have thought about it when I see that even the invites, I'm like, creative emergence. That's a cool set of
Hmm.
words.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think between what I've heard you talk about and also just how I see it myself is like finding a way to be in the world where like you're able to like get into more of that alignment in
Mm,
multiple parts of your life, maybe like it's like finding in a way like stripping away and like getting in touch with what wants to emerge. So like
mm,
living creatively, finding ways to nurture that so that like the true nature and the true creative life force can like come out. And I
mm,
feel like that's how I understand like when the work that you're doing is like helping people find that. So the more people that can do that, the like better the world is going to be. That's what right?
I like that a lot. I love that.
Now now I'm curious what
Wow.
your
Yeah, I was thinking about it a lot over this last weekend because I was writing an article for we're going to have a Illumina Guild publication that everybody can contribute to, anybody who wants to.
cool.
And the topic is creative emergence. And the sort of subtopic, or to focus us a little bit more, is how would you describe your creative process, but actually in an emergent way? So emergent simply meaning that you're less interested in what you've said before
Mm.
and more interested in what's right here at the very edge wanting to be known. Like even through us and
Oh.
through this conversation right now, there's ways that we could answer every question by referencing the past, which is great, and it gives context and everything. And then there's a part of the self that's always sort of perched there, feeling and sensing what's arising, like what's
Mhm.
possible. There's many different directions this conversation could take. I had some ideas of questions, but I purposefully don't script everything because I know that that stamps out, it closes the window on the ability to perceive what's right on the edge. So
Mhm.
creative emergence, and so anyways, I was writing about creative emergence and I was thinking a lot about it, and like, what does it even mean, and how do we bring this, I don't want to say down to earth, but like make it tangible, so it's
Mm.
not something that's just sort of abstract conceptual, even though I think it's fine to start with that, because the truth is, if you think about it, the way that we describe things also shapes the shape of things. In other
Mhm.
words, the way that we describe our process with anything shapes our experience of the process itself, which is also going to shape our emotions. It's going to shape the thought forms that we have in relationship to it. So if you bring in a broader context, or a more vast context, or just a more accurate, a better fitting for the time context for
Mhm.
understanding life, then all of a sudden something that felt either mundane or scary or boring or whatever takes on this whole new
Oh
life.
yeah, like creative
You see what I
immersion.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Juicier.
So it's like, okay, if I say we're living in a time of emergence, but we always have been living in a time. I mean, consciousness is emergent by its very nature, but we're
Mhm.
living in a time where, um, you and I can we can focus ourselves and our attention in a way that people wouldn't have necessarily been able to do 100 years ago, when you had to work
Mhm.
and orient in a certain way in
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're a busy entrepreneur, I'm a busy entrepreneur, but we have a lot more free time and space and capacity to be able to focus on whatever we want to focus on and
Oh
contemplate
yeah.
it, and to lean into what our, like, even micro preferences are. So to
Mhm.
sit kind of at the edge of your life and go, oh, my life is my art piece.
Mm.
And you, even like, your brush strokes are kind of how you notice how you feel, you ask how you want to feel, and then you shape that feeling by putting your attention on a lovely thought, your dog that you love, or like in the morning when I think about how much I love Kiara, and then I'm starting to by my attention, I'm giving shape to what's my experiences. So what I'm describing right now, even though it is a little bit, perhaps for some people it's a little bit out there, but it is actually how reality works. We're constantly shaping it by where we
Oh
put our
yeah.
attention, right?
Mhm.
So the whole thing of more and more consciously choosing where you place your attention, because you're crafting your experience not from a place of control, but from a place of just sheer curiosity and artistry.
Mhm.
That's a relative, I think I don't know if it's new, but I think it's newer that we can do it in this way and do it with other people. That's my
Mhm.
sense of it. What comes up for you in relationship to all of that?
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I think what I'm understanding you say, which I agree completely with, like we're creating our reality, um, And so I'm like, I'm hearing that like even naming it creative emergence is creating the experience. Like you're creating the experience and that your life is going to be you creatively emerging or like on the edge of emergence with this creative life, right? Or
I
is that what
like
you?
what you're pulling out because I didn't really make it explicit in there. Is that uh, the context of creative emergence, how I was just describing it, can help someone to have a more free experience
Hmm.
or a more pleasurable experience where life feels like it's happening to them less and they're happening to it.
Like
So that
permission.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's like so that the narrative and the context itself creates more room for expression
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
play within one's life, daily life experience. Do you see what I mean?
totally, totally.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like even like a little permission slip to be like, okay, like here you go. Like you don't have to do the everything by the book. Let's like explore in this new way of so much more freedom and openness and curiosity. I feel like it's like kind of like, ooh, what wants to emerge? Like I don't really know until I allow the space for it, right?
And that's what you do in your work, right? I mean, I feel like that's what you do with photography.
Yeah, and definitely like with my artwork, I feel like I'm like, I don't know what like sometimes I make something, I don't know why I made that, or like, something comes out of you that you don't
Whoa.
really know where it comes from, but maybe you understand later or you can put meaning to it. Yeah, art is funny in that way. It's
Wow.
like either you can like have the meaning and then create the art, or you create the art and make the
And make
meaning,
the meaning. Oh,
right? Or like,
wow. Yeah.
like sometimes I have an idea and then I make something from the idea, but it might end up being having another meaning than I thought it did. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. That's so true. I don't, I don't really paint. I was only hesitating because I want to. It's one of those things where it's want to, and I have kind of visions where I am sometime in the future, but I haven't quite made the space in my life to do it
Yeah,
in
you're
any
doing
kind
so
of
many things.
consistent way. What?
I said you're doing a lot of things.
I'm doing a lot of things, but I can, oh, there's something cool I was feeling. It's the thing that you were talking about you can have, there can be meaning. Oh, I know what it was. You, you you can have meaning and then create the art, or you can create the art and then make the meaning. And you can go into art creation, um, say with a plan or a point or something. But I mean, I don't know if this is true, so you tell me if it is. But you kind of have to let go of that to really let it be what it wants to be, right? Otherwise, it
I
seems.
think so.
I mean, I guess you could make art that's like I'm going to paint that my water bottle on my table and I have a specific point, I have a specific thing, I'm going to paint it and then I'm done.
Hmm.
But you're talking about something different, right?
Well, I think what I guess I'm thinking in which probably applies in various ways, but like I know in the art photography world, there are a lot of people that will like have an idea and they find a way to express it through images and a certain technique or a certain like approach, and it can be so powerful. And I'm
Mm,
sure they have their own process, but I feel like for me, often there's so much more like it's hard for me to just say like I'm going to do this thing and it's going to make sense in this way, which
right.
makes it sometimes hard to like present a series and like, the way that the art world works.
Oh
But
my gosh.
but I feel like I have to just let it be go, I think for me it's like art making is really for me. Which
Oh,
I think ultimately that works better for me at least,
yes.
like if I'm already doing photography as a job, so I think it's nice to have something that's not, it's just art for art making, for like play and expression and healing. Like there's so many parts to it that I love. Yeah, that help me.
What I want, and I experience this to some degree, but not in totality, is to have that combined, meaning that I have my art that I do as work.
Hmm.
Work meaning there's money, there's a transaction that's involved in it. I have an offering, somebody takes part in it, there's money that's exchanged. I want that to be uh, I want to have that second thing that you just named about being free, that it's just for me. I experience all
Mm.
these things. I want that in my work. And
Oh,
I just recently actually had um, it was like a little mini meltdown to Rory because I was feeling this pressure to bring in this large amount of money in a small amount of time because we had some trees that went down on our property and it took out the electrical lines, the neighbor's
oh no.
fence, and our septic tank.
Oh
And
no.
so
Oh my God.
I was like, okay, I have these avenues and ways that I can sell things to bring in money. And it's like I can't really, and I have nothing against selling, by the way. I mean, I've done a lot of work around selling, and I feel completely in integrity with selling for myself and the way that I do it, and that's been a process to come to that.
Mm.
But I also just want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do
Right?
it. And ultimately, this is it, and trust that the money will come.
Mhm.
But how it's been, and what I think what we've seen for a long time is that people that are artists or are doing their joy,
Mhm.
they don't get to make a living from it, or they don't make enough money from it. Even Rory will say often, like, I don't, I've got a profession as a musician where not very many people can actually make a living from it. So it's like he does it because he has to do it because it's good for his soul, but he's not doing it because
Mhm.
he makes a living out of it. So that's one of the things we talk about in Lumina Guild too. It's like, what if we can be abundant in all ways, not just monetarily, through our creative essence?
Yeah.
And I actually do think that we're more poised for that than ever before, also because of
Mhm.
this age of AI and how it's shifting what human value actually is. It's
Mhm.
in our creative essence, but it's not just
Exactly.
in our creative essence, it's in our capacity to actually sort of conjoin with our creative essence in the moment. That's the creative emergence,
Mm.
to be able to let that flow through in the moment and trust that. And then let that be, for me, I can only now do things where I'm permissioned to behave that way. I can't teach a
Yeah.
webinar or a class or have a one-on-one session with someone unless I am, Tiffany is fully permissioned to be emergent in style. In fact, the only real parameter I have on things now is, and I'm still not great with it, it's like a time parameter. Okay, we're going
Mhm.
to in this time frame. But then beyond that, I just know what I get. What I get is I'm clear what the theme is. I'm clear what it is that I'm going to share in terms of if there's a landing page or something like that, copy I'm going to write. But then beyond that, I don't totally know what's going to come out when I start the thing or even when I start a session with someone. And I love that because it keeps me fresh. It keeps me authentic. It keeps me out of my mind. It takes my ego. My ego can't even be part of the picture when I'm operating like that.
Right. I feel that in your sessions. Like I always feel so energized because I think it's like you feel that dynamic energy and it's just like I'm like, "Oh, what's she gonna say next?" Like it feels very like
So
like we're
true.
all
It's
with
so
you
true.
in that emergent energy. It's so good.
I love so um oh gosh. So funny the way the mind works. It always wants to quantify and qualify things. Um I one of the things that I witness about you is your capacity for care. And when you said at the very
Mhm.
beginning that you just love people, it's so true. I mean, you really do. It's like your medicine.
Hmm.
I consider what you do in the healing arts, and it's like medicine the way you love and see people just
Thank you.
so unconditionally. It's extraordinary. I mean, really. And I don't remember where I was going to go with that. Um, I think yeah, this is just an example of I don't actually know totally what wants to come out of my mouth. So this is my creative emergence. I don't
Tell me
totally
right
know
now.
what wants to come out of my mouth right now, but I can feel these sort of waves or threads happening.
Hmm.
And this one feels like it's connected to how you care for people, how you care for yourself,
Hmm.
and the role of creativity in that. How you care
Hmm.
for other people, how you care for yourself, and the role of creativity, creative flow in that.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know if there was a question or a, but
Yeah, it's a
what comes to
question, but
mind?
it's kind of an open one. So it's
Right.
really
Yeah.
just whatever comes to you in relationship to that. You can riff on it.
Yeah. I think what came to mind first was just like that the more I can care and love myself. I mean, this seems so true in all of life. Maybe that's obvious, but like the more I can care and love myself and accept myself, the more and more capacity I have to love and be present for others.
Mm,
And and also I think in my allow that creativity because it's like releasing the judge too, of like
mm.
with creativity, I think a lot of it is like the self-judgment when blocking creativity is like there's the little mind that's like, this is silly. Don't, why are you doing this? Like art is selfish or whatever is your little voice. So it's like the more you can like love and care for yourself and release those judgments, which I'm like constant. I feel like that's a, lifelong journey for me. But I
Mhm.
mean, I can see a big shift, which is real, always nice. Um,
It
so
really is, isn't it?
like, okay,
Oh my
something's
gosh,
happening.
yes. Mhm.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you can release that, then you allow for more creativity, for things to flow through, like we were saying, there's more of a fluid path if you don't have all the little, I'm imagining like a river and you're like putting rocks in the river in the way or
You have
something, and it's
big
like you're
boulders and things in the way.
yeah, you're like
Mhm.
clearing the path for it to all flow. Um, but similarly caring for others, I think, right? It's like you're expanding that capacity.
Mm,
I mean, it's interesting because I feel like even when I don't know even why I'm saying this, but like even when I was harder on myself, I still had such a capacity to love others, you know? Um,
mm,
but I think maybe it's like it came out in not as pure ways, maybe. It's like the
mm.
more I can care for myself and love myself, then the pure that is, and the more it's felt,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm.
Does that
I
make sense?
I
Yeah.
have it makes sense to me in my own version of that I've had experience with. I felt like the I mean I had a clinical practice for 20 years and I really love people too. I really love people and then honestly people like scare me sometimes. I have a mixed I can see people and just love them and love on them and I probably am one of the least judgmental humans I know, honestly, genuinely.
Hmm.
And yeah, sometimes I'm afraid of people. It sounds kind of extreme, but it's like, yeah, what unpredictable behavior and
Hmm.
cruel things and just stuff probably from my history. But I have to sometimes remind myself like, oh, this people are safe. It's okay. I can relax. I can be
Hmm.
myself, all those things. But what I was going to
Yeah.
say about the clean part of it is that I for sure I had a and I can't even say that I'm totally free from this now, but it's so little compared to what it was. But did have, I think, a need for people to like me because I received something from that. Whether it was a safe feeling or something for my ego or whatever. But
Hmm.
as be, um, I think began to love myself more and more, or as I progressed in loving myself more and more and had clear boundaries and was clear what wasn't mine and what was mine and what my job really was, that I could love people without needing them to like me back. All this was like
Hmm.
part of a huge evolution. Then
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can just love more cleanly. It doesn't have any
Hmm.
strings attached.
Right. Sorry, that's my doggy.
except to Rory.
Oh, right. There's a couple.
I mean, I just think our
Maybe
stuff comes up with our partners.
I know. Well, and it's like it's
Uh,
maybe eventually, but I think it's hard to like have 100% pure, like all the time. That would be
oh yeah.
like
I mean, we are
bringing
human.
something. Yeah, we're still human. Wait, I feel like I was gonna say something, but my doggy distracted me.
Mm.
Um,
Do you know how cool you are?
I don't
I mean,
know. Thanks
do you
for
feel
saying
like you
that.
know how cool you are, or do you? I'm just so curious.
That's so sweet. I think it's one of those things where sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cool. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, you're just I don't think I do, but sometimes I do. I guess. But thank you for saying that. That's very sweet. Also, it's like, I don't know, what is a cool person? I think we're all cool in our own ways, maybe.
Yeah, cool. I guess yeah, for me it's somebody that's very real and
Yeah, okay.
themselves. Not
Yeah, yeah.
perfect, but like real themselves and has a
Yeah, I
capacity for
agree.
being really real and for showing
Mm.
up fresh and being curious and leaning into love over anything else. Like that's I think makes for a really cool and interesting person.
I agree. Those are my
Yeah.
favorite kind of people.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
you're aware that you have a large capacity in those areas.
I do. I think like I have struggled with like sharing that, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, let me see how to say this. I think in my personal relationships, I have a really large capacity and um but I think I've just done a lot of hiding in my life. And like I'm in a phase where I'm like, so this was such a great opportunity to be like, and with you, I feel very present and very like on the edge of emergence. Like it feels really
Yeah.
good. Um, so
So
it
good.
feels like a an opportunity because I do think I've hid a lot in my life.
Mhm, mhm,
And not necessarily on purpose, it's just safety and
mhm,
childhood stuff that we all
mhm,
have, but I've done a lot of work on myself and I think that has given me a lot of emotional intelligence, which I appreciate. And like my mom was very emotionally intelligent and I think taught me that. But I guess what I'm trying to say, it's like I do think I have all those things like you said, but I think sometimes it's hard for me to like share that full self. Like I
mm.
tend to kind of go to the background or like maybe that's why I ended up being a photographer because I can like observe and
Ah,
capture and
right.
like without being out there being like this is me and this is what I have to say like I think that's why I have a really
Right,
hard time with social
right,
media like I'm like I'll just be back here and share some photos but
right.
I'm working on changing that.
I bet a lot of people can relate to what you just said. I think a lot of people can relate to it. What do you feel like you need for that to change?
Hmm. I don't know. It's an interesting one because I feel like lately I feel so much more like, okay, I know that I'm ready to shift this and I can feel small movements in the right direction, but there's also this kind of like, I don't know what it is that's gonna really shift it. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's probably taking small, scary actions when I maybe wouldn't have before, or, you know, letting go of perfectionism and just sharing things and just, even in my close relationships, I've been practicing more like telling them people things that like maybe I wouldn't have told them or because I think I've even hid some of because I'm just very emotional and very like have a lot of I just go deep, I guess. And I
Hmm.
think unconsciously I've hid some of that even from close friends sometimes.
Hmm.
So that's part of my practice lately too. It's just like being more honest and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll see where it goes,
Wow.
but thank you for this is one little step in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so cool, everything you said. Even I'm just thinking about it in relationship to this conversation of creativity in action and creative emergence. And the, you are creative. you are creatively emergent
Mm.
in each moment, and I am too. And we're either exploring right there at the kind of leaned in at the very edge, or we're back here. But by our very
Mhm.
nature, we're creatively emergent beings. And so becoming more visible is just an expression of that emergence. And
Mhm.
even if we could say, like, becoming, because I really do think that becoming more visible, or yeah, it's probably the easiest way to say it. There's a lot to that. It's not just about showing up on social media more. It's like you actually have to back it up.
Yeah,
You
totally.
have to
It's
back
like
it
day to
up, or
day. It's
else,
not just,
or yeah, or you, like, you put a few things up and then you run and hide for 5 years. And a lot of people do that. I
yeah.
mean, I've definitely had my periods where I would come out in a big way, like when I made my cooking videos. And I mean, I remember when they, because I had a professional crew that did the filming, and I filmed these because I had to. It just was it was a thing that had to come out of me, and I had no idea. I wasn't a cook, like I wasn't a chef or a cook. I didn't really have an audience that I was going to launch these DVDs to. I just had to make my cooking duties. So then I remember when they sent me the first clip that they had edited for me to review. And I mean, it took me almost a month to look at the video, to like open up my
Oh,
computer, put it in and watch it. And I wouldn't watch it at home because I didn't want
oh.
anyone at home to see. I watched it like at a Starbucks with my headphones on, and I was just cringing the whole time. I was just cringing. So this thing of even coming out where you start to see yourself on video, where you people are seeing themselves in photos more, or they're showing up and doing lives, or you're showing up and doing this interview with me. Like every one of those steps, there's an internal process that goes along with it that has to be
Mhm.
metabolized and then integrated, and then you get stronger and clearer, and it gets easier, that whole thing, right?
Right. Like it feels like kind of like a tool to like process that stuff a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be all of it, like you were saying. Like it's also just day-to-day life. But if you use it as a tool to practice showing up and being visible and vulnerable and authentic in a way, like
It
yeah,
really, really
I think
is.
that's the potential of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Monica, who's in Lumina Guild and who's done my social media for a long time, she talks a lot about social media or just becoming more visible as a spiritual practice. And I really think it can be.
Totally.
Hmm.
I think so. I think if you, like you said, if you're really doing the work of to like process it each time instead of, I think if you're really embodied in it and like using it as that tool, then it definitely can be.
And you're
I think
backing
that is
yourself
kind
up.
of my next edge. Yeah.
Uh, is there anything else that you feel like you want to share or go into around creativity, your creative process? Anything that you want to share with people who
Hmm.
might be at various places with their own process?
I guess I don't know. I've been thinking about this lately because I was even thinking like I think eventually I'd want to like teach workshops or something about this, but like this idea that people are like, I'm not creative.
Mm,
And I'm like, no, it's not true. I could see how it's very hard for people to feel connected to that or what they see as creativity, or maybe they think of it as art and specific ways of doing it. But yeah, I just think that's so fascinating is to like pull like release the idea that you're not creative, that you're not a creative person, like and I think I'm I don't know if I have any advice or anything, but I just think there's like that we all have this like creative spark, and people share it in different ways, but I think anyone who's struggling with that, it's like giving yourself permission to say like I am creative, and it's like I just we'll see how it comes out, or maybe test trying things out, or just like releasing this like tension around it. I don't know if that makes sense. I just feel like I've heard people say that, and I just know we're all so creative, and there's something really beautiful that can come out of like I saw in this workshop this weekend. It was like even just doing a silly drawing, or like, but if you get connected to it in a certain way,
mm,
like if it's coming from a real honest place of something
mm,
that's within you, then it's going to be interesting. It doesn't have to be good
mm,
art or like whatever that means. Like,
mm.
it doesn't have to be masterful. It's a human story. It's a human
Mm.
experience that we can all connect to. Um,
Oh, it's really beautiful.
right?
I
I just
I also
love
felt
that.
it connect back to what you said about that. It's one of my favorite things from this interview is that you do your art for you,
Mm,
that you do it for you. And even so, if somebody, even if they don't feel creative, but they create something and they do it for them, and just to even let
yeah.
that in, like really let in the experience. Wow, I am doing this for me
Right. And like
and
coming back to
enjoy
like
it.
the caring for yourself, like that's a way to care for yourself, right? It's like I'm not going to do this for anyone else or for my, success in my job or whatever it is. It's like
Mhm.
truly just as a nurturing thing for myself and however that wants to come out.
Mm, so good. It's such a good note to end on. Ah. Oh,
Mm.
it's so good. I was just thinking, this might leave us with like a cliffhanger, and maybe we have to have a part two. But I was thinking
I'm
about
down.
how, yeah, I love money. Like I love money. I genuinely love money. I, I've had such a journey with it in my own experience that is pretty epic. And I love that it responds to our energy. I
Mm.
love how it flows. I love how it can grow. I love how you can grow money. I love how you can flow money. I love how money just seems to come in just the right time. I just love all of these aspects about money that are beyond just like the ledger of money. You have this or
Mhm.
you don't have this. And the whole thing of historically artists that would get sort of sour or bitter like they were just creating and creating and creating that maybe their art took off and then there was some demands on them to create in certain ways
Mm.
and then they would lose that particular essence that was there before the money was there and you could say oh money corrupted it but I really want to show. I'm just saying something I already said before, I guess, which is that I want for my life to be played out as a living proof that we can just create and release and money will flow. There are certain things that you have to do in terms of each individual's relationship to money and relationship to creation and visibility. But when you
Mm.
work those kinks out, and then you just
Mm.
go and you do, and you're doing it for yourself, but you're when we're really doing something truly, truly for ourselves, we are doing it for other people too. It is an act of service. Like anything
Totally.
that I do completely for my even when I buy a lovely freaking dress, I just got one the other day. It's so beautiful. And I got that for me. But I walk around and I see people's faces. It makes them so happy and it makes me
Right.
so happy. It's so there's more joy that comes into the world. Like that's an act of service. It seems like such a frivolous
Mhm.
thing, but it's an act of service. So yeah, I'm so interested in this life around kind of cleaning up our messy stuff that's gotten installed over probably hundreds and hundreds of years around money and art and
Mhm.
be, being able to receive so much more freely and easily in relationship to your value that doesn't have to be proved in the old
Mhm.
ways that we were taught to prove it that are bound to time and money. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
see,
oh, sorry.
no, I was going to say that is a whole other this
Yeah,
is a whole other
totally.
realm. We just opened up another box.
I know, because I was gonna say like I feel like that is my dream, is like what you said is like just to be doing what I love and that flows into my bit. Like it's all just, it doesn't have to be, oh, like the
Yes.
one that pays and the one that doesn't. And
Yes.
like when you said that, I was like, oh, that's so true. That's the dream is like,
That's the dream.
yeah,
That's what we're doing.
yeah, that's what we're doing.
And
We're on our way.
That's what Lumina Guild's here to support too, because it was really as I started researching the Renaissance period and the period, even I was researching the last couple of days about the Impressionist period and how it was rejected art. Like
Right.
completely rejected, ostracized, put into other
Whoa.
buildings. They
I'm like
didn't make money.
outside.
The only way that they were supporting themselves was because they had a community of people. They were feeding each other. They were feeding each other and taking care of each other.
Whoa.
Like
What
literally,
a
I'll
cool
show you what I.
symbol.
It's so wild, and so it's like, and I have maybe 3 or 4 examples now. I'm going to post this article in Lumina Guild, but where people started thinking fairly radically differently than what was before. They were challenging the status quo with thought in art, and
Mhm.
art is also reflecting our perception. So they were challenging perception, the
Mhm.
status quo of perception. And in the beginning, it wasn't accepted, was ostracized. It's kind of the normal story, right? Reject
Mhm.
the thing you don't understand or that's new. And then what kept them going in every case was that they formed community. They formed guilds,
Mhm.
they formed salons, they formed
Ah,
circles. That's what kept them going. Because just left alone in your own mind, if you weren't talking to anybody else like me, it would just be the same old stuff. Like, you got to figure your photography business out, and you need to be a good businesswoman, and you better get up on time, and you better answer your emails, Nina, or you're not going to get money, and you're not going to be
right.
able to pay your rent. You know what I mean?
Because that's
Like,
what you hear all around you too. It's true that if you
all
don't like,
around you.
you don't find the right people and community, then you just
It's
hear like hustle, hustle, hustle,
so
keep going.
true. It's so true. It's so true.
Well,
That's
thank you for
really,
creating
really,
that for us.
yeah. Oh yeah, thanks for participating. I
Yeah,
mean,
I love
I
it.
need I need my peeps around to be able to
Yeah.
have conversations like this, because otherwise it's just kicking around in my head, and I mean, you know, what is this life if it isn't one big messy art project and science experiment? I mean, it's one big
Right.
experiment. Like, I'm not really interested in doing things the old way. I'm very curious about what's
Right.
possible. It's quite
Why?
exciting time to be
Yeah.
alive, even with all of the intensity, but it's quite exciting to see what's possible. So we'll reflect back in how many ever years from now when we're like, gosh, money just flows into my bank account. I just wake up in the morning. I just wake up in the morning. I make an audio of something that wanted to come through me. I put it up on this cool channel where I can just put it up there, and then money's coming in and people are working with me. And the truth
Yeah.
is, that's actually how my business works for the most part.
I
It's
was gonna say, I
only
feel like you're already in that flow.
well, but I then I
That's good,
forget, like,
right?
when when I have financial strain, that's when it's like, Tiff, buckle down. You need to figure shit out. And then all of a sudden I'm like bullied by that voice in my head that's telling me the
Mm,
way I've been doing it is wrong. Um, but I'm so glad I'm having this conversation even today, because it's a good reminder. It's yes, of course work's involved in work, but it really doesn't have to be in the old way that we were taught. Like, everybody has their own rhythm with how they want to flow through their day to optimally work and create.
I know,
And
yeah.
I'm I'm into figuring out what that is and then checking it out.
Me too. I definitely feel like that's where I am too, is trying to like find that balance. And I
Hmm.
feel like that, well, yeah, this could be a whole other conversation, but but I definitely feel that like those two voices, where it's like, oh, just be in flow and things will come in the trust. And then the
Yes,
voice is like, oh, but like, how are you gonna pay the bills and what are the things and
right.
it's not working or whatever. Yeah.
It's so
Finding.
true. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so true. Maybe, okay, so sticky note to ourselves that if we decide to have a part two, we're going to pick up with that
Okay.
conversation of how we navigate that journey
Right. I know. I think
of
there's a lot
having
there
the
for
two
sure.
voices. A lot of
Yeah.
people will relate to that. Okay, anything you want to say in closing? Maybe how people can find out more about you?
Oh, yes. My website is ninamenconi.com. I don't
Like your
know
name
if
here?
I should spell that, but I guess it'll be there.
Yeah, your name's
Uh,
here.
okay. And on Instagram at Nina Menconi or at ninamenconi.art is my art page.
Mm,
I guess. I don't know. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't I think that's pretty much it.
that's great. Okay. All right. Stay on after we hang up. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks for coming
Bye. Thank you
together.
so much.
And until next time.